What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back at it again with another episode of Stats Over Politics. This is episode 103. Yes, you heard that correct. 103. We are flying through. We celebrated our 100th episode a couple weeks ago, and you guys know what we do in the offseason. We start bringing in the good guests because they're going to come in and add the energy. Me and Toddy have been mentioning in the weeks the energy has been high. And our next guest right here to my right, James Terrell. Welcome to the show, man. We're happy to have you. How you doing today?
Man, I'm doing good. I just want to say it's an honor. I've been following this podcast for about a year and been waiting to get on. Didn't know if Bronny was gonna give me the good invitation, but I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to talk some good hoops right now.
Oh man, Kev, you lacked on the intro. We got Mr. Money.
Shit, let you did the intro.
Conflicted. The man, the myth, the legend is in the building. This is the Rant King. If you guys follow him on Instagram, he is going to go in on anything Sacramento Kings base. So you guys are watching those long stories of him going in on Sabonis after another triple-double night, and they finally and they lose by 12. But Sabonis had a triple-double. This is the man right here. This is the guy to go to.
We missed the playoffs, but thank God Sabonis was the triple-double king.
Right. It's all that matters, right? Back to our politics. But Jaevon, Toddy, how we doing today, man? We got Toronto jersey. You brought the T-Mac last week. Is this also a T-Mac jersey?
This is a Vince Carter 15.
Keep it in the family.
Yeah, so I'm really into T-Mac. Like when I was growing up, watching T-Mac, kind of he was that guy. He was that guy for me when I was I'd say from 5 to 9 years old. Huge Tracy McGrady fan. So I got a couple of T-Mac jerseys. I've been looking for a Houston T-Mac jersey. I got an Orlando one. I don't want to just grab 4 T-Mac jerseys because it's you got him when he was in Toronto. I got an Orlando one. And then so I feel the Houston one will kind of that's the one that I need.
Well, you got to get you a Toronto Raptor one would be tough. A Toronto Raptor one would be tough.
That one would definitely be tough, too.
That's why when I first saw that, I was like, bro, he comes on here with a Toronto Raptor jersey. That's immaculate. But as you guys can see, Shaun Hokel is not here, so Kevin Dent will be doing his best job to fill in. He was a game-time decision, and unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it here. Garry is working hard, doing a top-secret mission, but he's handling his business for sure. So Toddy teed it up for us. We mentioned we have 2 Sacramento Kings fans on. We have a Sacramento Celtic here. So there was a lot going on last week in the NBA draft. So Toddy, I'm going to swing it to you first. What were your thoughts on the NBA draft?
I was really surprised Ricochet went number 1. I mean, that was kind of what it was gearing up towards. I'd say the last 48 to 24 hours of the draft he was trending to be the guy. I think Rob Dillingham is kind of the guy that a lot of people are I can't believe he went for what Kevin calls 6th graders in our group chat that we famously mention on the show a lot. If all it took was 2 6th graders, why didn't we trade up for Robert Dillingham? And Kevin was a guy that was unwilling to trade into the top 10 for anybody in this draft. And I was like, well, Kev, why? Rob, if Rob's there, Cody Williams is there, why not try to make something shake? But this was kind of a lackluster draft, not too many guys. I think a guy that a lot of people who I thought probably should have went 1 was Stephon Castle, the guard from UConn. I thought he 6'7", combo guard, can't really shoot that well, as most guys in this draft. Is a guy that I think he'll play right away. Probably start, to be honest. And he'll be a cornerstone piece for that San Antonio Spurs team. A couple of guys who kind of ended up going kind of shockingly falling. Jacoby Walters was a guy that Kevin was really into. I think the Kings were kind of high on. I think he ended up falling to Toronto at 20-something. Kel'el Ware, who we kind of saw a glimpse of in Summer League. Now it was against the Chinese national team. Let's chill out on who they were playing. But I thought he showed a lot of promise in his first couple of games in Summer League so far. But another slept on person who I thought kind of fell a little bit was Jared McCain to the Sixers. I thought that was a really solid pickup for the Sixers. You got a backup guard who can score the ball. He didn't play too well to start out his freshman year, but I feel like towards the end, going into the ACC tournament and into the tournament, he played fairly well, and that kind of shot his draft stock up. So probably missing out on some guys like Cody Williams to Utah. I thought was very interesting, a project guy. At one point in time, was number one on people's boards. I say going into the season, one of those top lotto draft guys that a lot of people were kind of high on. I thought was a solid signing for them. Don't really know what Utah's trying to do because, you hear so many trade rumors about Lauri Markkanen. They have a young guard in Keontae George. They have another young guard coming off the bench of Colin Sexton. So you're kind of wondering what's Utah's path, what are they going to look like going forward. But Danny Ainge is the guy that's known to wheel and deal, I would know, because he drafted Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, champions. So I would know that Danny Ainge is a guy that likes to wheel and deal. He likes to collect assets and trade for things. So not sure where Utah is going as a whole as a team, but those were some guys I kind of thought that was pretty interesting on where they went or if they fell to this. But I'd say overall the best place I thought for a guy to go was probably Stephon Castle to the Spurs. I thought he would have went a little bit higher, but I think he's going to be very good for the Spurs.
So, James, I asked Toddy about an overall NBA draft recap. So I have a different question for you. Could you give us 2 winners and 2 losers of the NBA draft?
I have to agree with Bonnie on the Spurs. I feel like, you gave Rob Dillingham away for 6th graders, but when I don't know, I didn't watch much college basketball last year, but I just knowing how the way Rob Dillingham plays, it didn't seem like a good fit there at the Spurs. I haven't watched much of Stephon Castle, but with the information that Bonnie's given, 6'7", and what I got when I was watching the draft is a lot of teams and a lot of people were saying he's very coachable. Of course, if you're going to pop, that's going to be a great thing to have, a great quality. And then you were high in the draft lottery pick, pretty much should have been, and you're about to go there with the highest or the best draft pick since LeBron, arguably. So it's like looking like a great situation for the Spurs. And I wasn't too high on it at first, but I think the Kings did. I wouldn't say it was necessarily a win, really, but I think we did decent in the draft with what we were given. Now, actually, let me backtrack because Memphis got Zach Edey, didn't they?
Yeah.
I think that was actually a slept-on pick because he's not going to give you nothing crazy offensively coming into the league, but right now it's a big stock or just a big market for a solid individual in the paint that could clog it up, protect the rim, and then just get you rebounds and layups. Josh hopefully coming back next year, and then is Desmond Bane still over there as well?
Yes, sir.
So they got a good squad coming back. Marcus Smart, vet leader. He was just on the Celtics, so all that experience that they have that you just seen play out, he's got that too. So I think Memphis did a good job drafting Zach Edey. I'm surprised to not see him go a little bit higher. But it worked out for Memphis that they was able to grab him.
Definitely. I definitely have them as one of my winners because we have seen, especially with USA last year or maybe 2 years ago, that Jaren Jackson's not a 5. As much as he wants to be a 5, defensive player of the year, I put him in the same kind of box as you do a Bam Adebayo. They play 5 because they don't have a 5 next to them. If you have a 5 next to them, they're 4s. And I think Zach Edey's going to go in there and do exactly what they need. They don't need him to be the player of the year in college basketball. Go out there, 10 and 15 and 9. That's all we need.
Exactly.
You go out there, stretch the floor. He's a playmaker. He's an older guy, so he's able to jump in and play right away. So I definitely had the Grizzlies as one of my winners. Another one of my winners, like Toddy mentioned, Rob Dillingham and the Minnesota Timberwolves. For them to get Rob Dillingham and Terrence Shannon Jr., they got in 2 guys that me and Toddy were texting every draft, every number, who's going here. And I told Toddy at 8 with Zach Edey. He's like, what's going on? I said, Toddy, this ain't a lottery team. This is a playoff team that just happened to be land in the lottery. So you're drafting for fit. We don't give a damn about projects. We want to win now. Like James mentioned, you have a Desmond Bain, a John Moran, a Jaren Jackson Jr. So to continue to add to this core, you got a Brandon Clark coming off an Achilles injury. So to see him come back, they got a lot of things going, and they just got rid of Steven Adams. So to fit Zach Edey in there, a perfect fit. Another winner I have, the Utah Jazz. Like Toddy mentioned, Cody Williams, a two-way defender. We saw with the last two champions in the Denver Nuggets and the Boston Celtics, that two-way defenders, the more the merrier. And then for you to go get Isaiah Collier, who, if me and Toddy talked about this 12 months ago, we had him going number one. He was the number one ranked player. So for him to go out there and deal with a lot of injuries at USC and just a lot of hype that they just couldn't live up to. And then the second pick of the second round is Kyle Filipowski. I know there's a lot going on about why he fell in A, B, C, and D, but we're just going to keep it basketball. On the court, like Jason Tatum said, a lot of dudes are going to regret not taking him in the first. He's a do-it-all big man. I don't think he's going to be able to play the five efficiently. He had rebounding problems at Duke, so I definitely see that translating, but he can score the best of them. And like Toddy said, what are the Jazz doing? He mentioned a guy like Colin Sexton. Is he going to be around now that they have Isaiah Collier, Keontae George, when you give the young guys the rock? Is Laurie going to be there? Is Cody got to kind of step into that role? We're going to see. And a lot of people are going to hate this. I think the Lakers were one of the winners of the draft. For Dalton Connect to fall to 17 is insane. And a lot of guys are texting me like, Kevin, like, he did this, he did that. I'm like, dude, he's our age. You know what I mean? He's been around the block a couple of times. He's a 3-time transfer. He started off at a community college. So for him to be a 5-year guy, it's like, yeah, you did this, but the NBA is younger and younger as it is. That's why a perfect example is Justin Edwards, a young guy. Me and Ty talk about him all the time. You got 5-star kids coming in right after you. You gotta sit the pine for them, or you gotta go to the NBA. You're younger, going to the NBA, and you gotta go do what you gotta do. And then of course, Bronny James. We'll have him in the next topic, so I won't get into too much. But a lot of people are crazy about it. What I keep telling people is, what the hell else we gotta get at 55?
Thank you.
Now look, if they drafted him at 17, I get it. Pitchforks, everything. 55, what the hell else is he gonna get at 55? You might as well sell some extra tickets.
I might as well go try to get LeBron James Jr., dog. Like, if you have LeBron, like you said, we're gonna get into him, but I'm glad somebody is on that hype as well.
Oh, don't draft him, or we're going to Australia.
Dang. I thought I was lying. As soon as I heard him say that, I text Toddy.
Do you want a job? Oh,
don't draft Bronny James. But James mentioned it a little bit. I'm going to get into a lot more detail. One of the losers of the draft, Sacramento Kings. I love it. We got DeMar. We're doing all good.
Clips. He does our clips. Clip this. So, please clip this.
For clip purposes, I'm going to restart. So one of the losers of the NBA draft has to be the Sacramento Kings. I know James and I are diehard fans, but I think we're just replaying a movie from 2 years ago with Davion Mitchell. You know, Devin Carter's an older guy. Like we just said with Dalton Connect, so those guys tend to fall. And like Toddy mentioned in his monologue, 2 6th graders. If the goal was to go and get a point guard, why not trade up and get the best point guard? Mm-hmm. Why are we going to get another guy like Davion Mitchell when we could have had Dalton Connect, Khalil Ware? We could have had Jacoby Walters.
Reed Shepherd?
No, not Reed. I don't think Reed was the best point guard in the draft. I think it was Rob. So I think definitely trading up. But everyone's saying that he's better than Davion at this. He's better than Davion at that. They both don't do a lot of things well.
Yeah.
We drafted a guy who's hurt. He can't even play in Summer League. And the only thing
I didn't know he was hurt either.
He has over him is he's an inch taller. He's 2 inches taller, 1.5 inches. So people are saying like, yo, he's taller. He scored more points. Devin Carter, D1 is D1, my guy, but we're not going to compare Providence stats to Baylor. We're not going to compare a national champ.
Kev didn't watch Big East basketball.
Toddy, you only did it because you bet. If you had no money in it, you not waking up on a Saturday morning saying, Georgetown, Providence, let me go ahead and clear my schedule.
Oh, just know I was locked into a lot of Providence.
Maybe takes a nap. I'm locked in. But they're both defensive guys, both guys that in their scouting reports on Bleacher Reports that have offensive versatility, great offensive potential, winners. What does that mean at the next level? If we just saw this, he's not a guy who's going to be able to extend the floor. And Davion was a better scorer than him. So we saw Davion go out there and struggle. I
will push back on that. I'll push back on that.
You want to put some numbers on the board?
I mean, you could do numbers.
We got 44% three from Davion and 36
in college.
College, yeah.
I think he's a better scorer.
He averaged 5 more points, but like I said, we're not going to sit here and compare
he might
Baylor
shoot the ball better.
to
He might have shot the ball better, but I think Devin Carter is a better scorer than Davion was.
And Devin Carter is a hell of a rebounder.
Watch tape.
I think he was a hell of a rebounder. I had to watch the tape because I had no idea who he was. But I just don't know what this really does for us. We're drafting him saying you're going to be a backup point guard. And I know this draft wasn't this draft wasn't that. If we're bringing in people to support the bench and be a part of the culture, wouldn't you want to kind of fit the age gap, like the age window? He's never going to be a starting point guard here. So if he's not okay in 3 years, he's not going to sign a rookie extension because he doesn't want to play behind De'Aaron Fox. Like Toddy and I talk about all the time, De'Aaron Fox declined a paycheck because he wants that all-NBA money. He gets that all-NBA money. Devin Carter's sitting there holding a clipboard. You know what I'm saying? Get splinters in his ass. And if you think about it, he's really not the second point guard either because they're going to let Malik Monk be the second point guard. So if we're bringing in rotational pieces and everyone's talking about we're going to get rid of Kevin Huerter, why not bring in a Dalton Connect that could replace a Kevin Huerter? We have guards on guards on guards, and I get it. Keon Ellis might be a bust and this and that, but what he showed us is what Devin Carter's going to give us. So are we going to move Keon now? Like, we have so many guards and so many positions that we could have helped in, and I just think guard was the wrong choice.
Not yet. When we drafted a guard, I was just sitting there like my stomach curled up. Just like you just said, at the time we had Davion, Keon, Fox, Monk. Don't forget about Kobe Jones, and then we also had it was just a lot. We have a lot of guards. And going back to what you said, are we going to move Keon Ellis out? Hell no. If we move Keon Ellis out, like, I'm going to be high. Just because from what he showed us coming in such a short time, he handled the poise of becoming a starter in a very big, or what's the word? I don't have a better word, but a hostile environment when you go play for the Kings, when you go play at Golden One. He handled that really well. And so on Devin Carter, I agree. Like, it's just kind of like we got the same player that we did in Davion Mitchell. He may have a bit more tools to be an offensive threat than Davion. Davion just haven't been so short. And I know an inch or two ain't too much better, but it's better. And he has a bit lengthy of a wingspan. I don't see him doing much for us besides coming in, hey, Keon or Fox needs a break guarding this dude. Come give us 5-6 minutes, hard defense.
Damn.
I just don't see it because he's not going to get the ball to score. There's not going to be a single time where they're like, go get a bucket. Because if he's on the floor, then Malik Monk's on the floor or Fox is on the floor. Like, they're not going to leave him out there by himself. So you look at it, and it's like at the guard play, we have Fox, great scorer. Malik Monk, I won't say great scorer, but very, like, dangerous scorer. He might explode and give you 30. They're going to be running stuff for him. We just acquired, who we acquired. So, like, it's more and more people that are going to be seeing the ball. So if he's going to come in, he wants to be effective and make a name for himself in the league, he got to come in and play lockdown defense and do it every time he's on the floor. But going back to what the Kings are thinking, I have no idea. I don't know who's up there in the office and stuff, but I feel like they just be sitting around the table talking about the next celebrity they're going to try to get courtside. And then when their number is called, they're like, who's on the board? So I don't know. I would have liked to see us get somebody, a big man or something, try to do what we're doing with Alex Lynn. But, the chips
could have went a lot of different options. But unfortunately, we never know, though, because like Shaun, like I told Shaun, I was at my bachelor party watching the draft 3 years ago. At number 4, it's Keegan Murray. I wanted Shaedon Sharp. I wanted Jaden Ivey. I'm boo-hooing. And, Keegan's not bad. He could be better, but he's better than Jaden Ivey and Shaedon Sharp. So,
not yet. Keegan, I was like, this situation with Devin Carter was me when we drafted Keegan. I'm like, who is this dude? Like, and it turns out to be okay. If Devin Carter can improve the way Davion improved this year, because Davion became a way better shooter this year and a bit more reliable on offense, if he can just show steadily improvement like that, then I'm all good for it. But it goes back to say, like, how long are we really going to have this dude if he's, a bit older of a player, not really trying to play behind people.
He's 23. He's trying to get it and go.
Yeah.
It doesn't help that he's hurt either.
I didn't know.
We knew it. It's not like it was a surprise. We went in there saying, "Oh, you're hurt? Come on, Sacramento's where it's at." And it's like, I know it's different management, so I can't put this on Monty and Vivek. We could have drafted Luka, and the reason we didn't draft Luka is because we had too many guards. That's what I'm saying. And now we have a shit ton.
Yeah.
But moving on, the Los Angeles Lakers drafted Bronny James at number 55. I got a little game for you guys. So there have been, let me give a final count. There have been 7, not including LeBron James and Bronny, number 1 picks, and their sons have been drafted into the NBA. You guys got any guesses on those 7? Not counting Bron and Bronny.
I know one is Kenyon Martin and KJ.
Okay.
That's one of them.
And there's
number 1 picks.
Number 1 picks. Their sons were number 1 picks, but the father was number 1 pick.
There we go.
Man, I didn't even know there was that many people that got their sons.
7 is crazy. Are any of them still in the league besides LeBron? Or LeBron and Bronny?
1 is still in the league. 2 old heads. 1
Carmelo? Oh wait, no. Carmelo wasn't. Wait, no. Carmelo? No. Cayenne's. Yeah.
And I'll give you a hint. 3 of them are juniors.
Wow. Oh wait, no. I was gonna say Steph.
I was gonna say I don't think Wardell went number 1. Yeah. Did Tim Hardaway go number 1?
Ooh. Well, that's a good guess.
All right, you guys. I'll give you guys one of the answers. The Thompsons, Klay and Michael Thompson.
Oh wow.
Michael Thompson went number 1. Damn,
bro.
That's got to be 1970.
He was
another one. We have the late Bill Walton and Luke Walton.
Oh wow.
We have John Lucas and John Lucas II.
Yep.
We have the Glenn Robinsons, 1st and 2nd. Patrick Ewing, 1st and 2nd. And then we have Jimmy Walker and Jalen Rose.
I guess I don't know ball.
Yeah. No, I saw some of these. I was like, Glenn Robinson went 1. I was like, geez.
Oh yeah, that's right. Jimmy Walker. I remember when in the Fab Five interview he was talking about him, but he said he didn't really fuck with his dad like that.
Yeah, no. So I mean, just crazy. But now we're moving on to LeBron James Jr. being drafted at number 55. James, what were your initial thoughts and reactions to hearing his name being called at 55?
There was no shock at all. I'm pretty sure it wasn't for any people. But honestly, I was really happy to see Bronny get his name called. I was happy that he got to go through the process of, he wasn't there, he was at home, but hearing his name called, he seemed pretty emotional. I was happy to see it, watching history be made. But I'm also one of the guys as a hooper, I'm like, all right, he got drafted. What is he gonna do? What are we doing with him now? Now that we got Bronny James, was this a media thing? Are we really trying to turn this kid into a great player? Because right now, I would want Bronny to be in the best situation to become a great NBA player, and I just don't know if the Lakers are that. But as far as just him getting drafted, I was happy. I wasn't surprised, but I was just kind of also a little anxious, not for him, but just waiting to see what's going to be the reaction for Lakers fans, for people who aren't Lakers fans. What is the backlash that this kid's going to get? Because it's coming.
Yeah, no, definitely. Before I swing to Toddy, me and Toddy have been going back and forth on, you got to look at the whole picture here. This dude had his heart problem. Before the heart problems, in high school, he was mocked lottery. McDonald's All-American, 4-star. Mm-hmm. He was doing this thing, and you look at the stats, and yeah, they were not great. He's on a minute restriction, and their team had a whole bunch of injuries. So he's forced to be in his opportunity where he hasn't played basketball in a month. Now he got to go in here and be the man.
Exactly.
He didn't really have that opportunity to truly get going. And I feel like if he played 10 more games, I think the narrative's a lot different. If he doesn't have that heart problem, I think the narrative's a lot different. that's a huge scare. Like, I tore my meniscus in college, and I was like, man, I'm kind of gimpy trying to get back on the court. Your heart stopping?
Yeah.
Man, this is your life. Like, I know you have aberrations of doing all this and that, but that is a hard thing to come back from. And I couldn't imagine. We saw with Sharif O'Neal, and that's something that you really – a lot of people can't bounce back from. It's a lot of mental. So for him to get his name called, and like James mentioned it, you saw the raw emotion. Like, this kid, everyone knew he was getting drafted. Why are you going to cry? You know what I mean? Like, why is this that much to you? But for someone whose heart stopped 8 months ago and now you're in the NBA and you're playing for the Los Angeles Lakers, like, yeah, you can say he was given this, given that. He earned it. You know, there's a lot of, like, I saw an example of Gilbert Arenas saying, like, you know, in the Walmart, the CEOs always pass it down to their kids and things like that. And we talked about at the beginning of the show, he was drafted at 55. There were, 5 picks after him? 6? You can't tell me who got drafted 56, 57, 58, 59 because the only thing they were talking about was Bronny Jr. Was Bronny James. That's all they were talking about. I was talking to Alex like, damn, they didn't even show the dude getting his hat. They still talking about Bronny James. So he's going to be good, you guys. He's a pro. Not all pros look the same. And I know it's hard when your father is LeBron James. You want him to be 6'7", come through the lane, chase down blocks, and doing all that. That's not his game. He's going to be a career backup point guard. He can shoot the ball and he can play D. Exactly. That's all you need right now. He could be a Drew Holiday, a Derek White. He can go in there and just do his job. He doesn't have to be an MVP. He doesn't have to be a Hall of Famer, but he's good enough to be in the NBA. He's better than that 0.1%. So let's give the credit where it's due. So, Toddy, I see you got a lot going on at the bottom of the screen, man. So what were your thoughts on Bronny James being drafted at number 55?
He got a little under $5 million guaranteed, which is a lot of money for a 55 overall.
It's not even his allowance.
But there was another report that came out and said that he's probably going to spend most of his time in the G League. So how much time are we going to see him on the court with the Lakers? I'm not sure. I thought it was cool to see, you know, Bronny is going to be able to play with his dad, like you guys both mentioned. I think that we all kind of knew that he was going to go to the Lakers. It was kind of inevitable at this point. And yeah, I just can't wait for the Bronny to dad lobs that we may or may not see in the league, or a LeBron to Bronny. He might recreate
the D Wade.
The D Wade that was. And you know what's crazy about that? It wasn't even a lob. It was like a bounce pass.
No, yeah.
A lot of people don't know that, but I think that it was really cool to see that he got drafted to the Lakers. He gets to stay at home. I don't know if he's getting kicked out or not, but
boy, I just got $8 million. I'm getting dad.
Yeah,
love you, Pops. My fault.
I think it's just really cool. And then we haven't really seen anything like this in the NBA. So for Bronny to get drafted to the Lakers, it's like, how good does he make this Lakers roster? I'm not sure, but I think he may or may not be in. He might get minutes. I don't know if he'll be in the rotation like that, but I think he might. We see minutes from him early. Kind of depends on how he plays in the summer league, training camp, all that stuff. From him kind of going back and forth in the G League, but yeah, it was really cool to see Bronny get drafted to the Lakers and be able to play with his dad. Like, that's another thing that people are going to add in the LeBron GOAT conversation. He played with his son. Jordan ain't never played with his son.
Jordan can't get his son drafted.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. He tried to get drafted. It didn't happen. So if you're not good enough, you're not good enough. You're not going to make it.
Everyone can't play. So moving on from the NBA draft, Toddy mentioned there was some big news yesterday in Sacramento. The Kings signed and trade for DeRozan. They not like us. We got DeMar in the city. James, what were your initial thoughts on hearing DeMar DeRozan will be a Sacramento?
This is what I've been waiting for. I've been waiting for this.
Holy man, I was driving back from the Bay actually, and Bonnie texted my phone about 4 times, and I didn't even look at the messages. I just felt buzz, 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 buzz. I'm like, oh yeah, it happened. It's go time. So I mean, when I found out, I was just excited because being a Kings fan, and I will say this, I haven't been a Kings fan my whole life because we've been losing my whole life. So I started about like I'll say like when COVID hit, I became a domestic. But being a Kings fan, being from Sacramento, we don't get many big names to sign with us. You know, we have to usually rely on the draft or, Malik Monk or was probably a good signing. But our biggest signing in recent times before this one was Sabonis. Good player, but not really a superstar like you say. Where DeMar, whether you want to argue current or former, has had that superstar status. So it was just good to see a superstar choose Sacramento and want to be here. And when you talk about the fit, like I just think it's a great fit. So I just instantly started thinking of the way Fox's game is going to change, the way Sabonis isn't going to have to be a score threat anymore. And, Malik Monk's going to actually get to be a six man instead of an undermined starter. Yeah, I had a great reaction when I heard that news. I was probably in my car making my girlfriend mad as hell, just screaming.
Toddy, you let everybody know it was coming. You let everybody know it was here. So what were your thoughts when you got that alert on your phone of DeMar DeRozan being a Sacramento King?
DeMar DeRozan, you are a Sacramento King. That was me in the group chat the whole weekend. You're seeing things about him kind of just, all right, he's going to go meet with the Kings. Then he's meeting at the Capitol. Then all of a sudden he's at Mercedes and he's at the Golden One Center. And I'm just like, okay. I'm like, they probably, like a deal's done. They just haven't announced it yet. Like 10 minutes later, it gets announced. DeRozan walks out, Golden One, to the infamous Kendrick Lamar song. And, the crowd goes wild. I saw a bunch of, I think it was a report from Mark Stein, if I'm not mistaken, saying that De'Aaron Fox was like in the meeting and he had a strong influence on why DeMar ended up resigning there. I don't know if there's a connection between the two or not, or it was just De'Aaron wanted to play with DeMar. But this is a good signing. Kevin was kind of on the fence about it. He was very high on Brandon Ingram, obviously because he's younger. But DeMar DeRozan is Mr. Consistent, I'd say, over his entire career. He's a 6-time All-Star, 3-time All-NBA. His last All-NBA season was about 2 years ago. And that was the year he averaged, I believe it was about 28 points a game. And, I get it. DeMar is not a three-point shooter by any means, but he is a midi magician, mid-game merchant, as some people might say. A guy who can create his own shot would be the perfect third option. He's been a number 2, number 1 option for the majority of his career. Him coming to this team, who really doesn't I wouldn't say by the numbers, don't really need more offense. But when you kind of break down the late game situations we need a guy to go and get a bucket. DeMar DeRozan is absolutely perfect for his Kings roster. When you look at De'Aaron Fox, and he's getting double teamed. Okay, who is De'Aaron going to give the ball up? Is he going to give it up to Sabonis? Sabonis is a great player. He's not a guy who can kind of create his own shot by any means. He's a guy that can, crash the glass, double machine, is an offensive threat, but he's not a bucket getter by any means.
My bad, not to interrupt, but he's an offensive threat, but he's not a score threat.
There we go. That's what I was trying to say. He's not a scoring threat like DeMar DeRozan is. He's a guy that can create his own shot. Late game or late in the shot clock, if there's 5 seconds left, you need a guy to go get a bucket. DeMar DeRozan's your guy. I think he was like second behind Sabonis in minutes played. Doesn't get hurt. He played 79 games last year. So Kevin is a guy that's like, oh, he's hurt. He's this, that, and the third, and this, blah, blah, blah. You need consistent. You need health. DeMar DeRozan's your guy. I get it. He's about to be 35 this year, but I think he's going to fit well in this Kings offense. I get that he doesn't shoot threes well, but I saw a stat that he shot like over 40% from like the left corner from 3-point range. So I don't think he needs to shoot threes really. I just think he just needs to bring his offensive prowess to this Kings team and just be there. And he's gonna average 23 a game. Why can't he average 23 a game? He's been doing it his whole career, as Kevin scoffs at the idea. De'Aaron's going to average, 26, 27? I think DeMar can average 20, 23. He's averaged at least 20 points a game his entire career, Kevin. Anywhere he's went.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. We all see Toddy's jersey. This ain't Toronto DeMar. This ain't San Antonio DeMar. This is Chicago DeMar. What do the Kings need? Was Kevin happy to hear that we made the biggest free agent signing in Kings history and of my lifetime? Yeah. This can't be it. This doesn't put us over the Nuggets, the Mavericks, the big top dogs in the West. This move doesn't do that. And I went to the group chat and I said, so DeMar is the fourth option? And they looked at me crazy. Crazy. We have two All-NBA players that are option 1 and 2. Sabonis isn't a scorer, but as the three of us know, they throw that bitch to the block a lot. The mid-range, he does a lot for this team. He got the ball in his hand a lot. And Malik Monk is now going to be a starter. We saw how much he had the ball in his hand as a 6-man. Now he's going to get that extra 10 to 12 minutes a night. Malik Monk, we did not pay him $80 million to come in and sit behind DeMar. So I have it as De'Aaron, you have Sabonis, then you have Malik Monk, and then DeMar DeRozan could be the fourth option. Like Toddy mentioned, he's going to be 35 years old. We'll be paying this man until he's 38 years old. We all know there's not a lot of LeBron James kind of 38 years old walking around. So what is he going to be at 38? You know, this team, we're a young team besides Sabonis and Fox. Of course, you have guys like Trey Lyles and things like that, but this nucleus is a younger team. DeMar doesn't fit that build. And if we're going to bring in a guy like that to be our fourth option, we can't get a winner. We can't get someone to bring something to the locker room.
Not a winner?
What does he want?
Not a winner.
You said 6-time All-Star, 3-time NBA, All-NBA. I didn't hear a championship. I didn't hear a conference finals. I didn't hear none of that.
Yeah, let's give him some credit. He ran into Cavaliers LeBron over and over and over.
He's not a winner, Kevin. Come on, man. You act like he's just some loser ass player.
We traded away a champion for a nigga who ain't won nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Harrison was a champ. Harrison brought championship experience.
Stats over politics. Let's look at the numbers.
Yeah.
Look at Harrison Barnes.
Do that.
All respect to Harrison Barnes. He's a North Carolina Tar Heel. There were times where you didn't even know Harrison Barnes was on the court.
Oh, there were times I knew he was on the court because I was looking at him the entire.
Not an offensive threat. You even said it yourself in the playoffs. If Harrison Barnes just makes that corner, that top of the key three.
What if? Game 4.
What if? And now you replace him with DeMar DeRozan.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's not better than Harrison Barnes. But when Harrison Barnes came, the Kings were in shambles. He was a part of building this brick by brick.
Yeah.
And to throw that away and bring in DeMar DeRozan, who is going to want the ball, is he going to be okay with averaging 18 a night? You're 35, my guy. We're paying 3 guys 3 times your salary. You ain't coming in here and being All-NBA. You're not coming in here and being an All-Star. The only way DeMar DeRozan is an All-Star is if the Sacramento Kings have the number 1 seed and we get 3. Only way. We have an All-NBA guy in Sabonis. We have an All-NBA guy in Fox. We've seen DeMar in his career be a 1 or 2. This isn't Chicago. You know, we want to win games. You ain't chucking up all them shots. It's just not what it is. And the offense we play in, all 5 dudes on the court besides Sabonis can shoot. So now we're adding another guy who could the left corner. Besides the left corner, he can't shoot nowhere else. He's a mid-range guy. He's gonna clog up the paint. You have to look at spacing. What does this do to our spacing? And the biggest thing that I thought I took away from this is, what does this do to Keegan Murray's development? Keegan Murray was supposed to be that next guy to help us get over that hump. So you're telling me next offseason we're going to pay Franz Wagner money to be a 5th option? No way, no how. Someone's going to have to give here. And Toddy keeps sending us, go get Kuzma, go get Kuzma. We're not paying Kuzma that money to be a 6-man. We're not.
Kuzma living in Sacramento.
Keegan's not going to go to the bench. I've been sending stuff into the group chat. The reason Lloyd Marketing is not in Sacramento is because they said we're not trading Keegan Murray. Keegan Murray's not going to the bench. At this point, we just need to continue to bring in more depth. Tyson's in a trade for us to get Cam Johnson. I think that'd be a great job. It's a great guy. He's another Trey Lyles. He could really be what we thought Sasha was going to be. We thought Sasha was going to come over here and have that impact. He just couldn't stay on the court. So we'll see what he does in Toronto. But this is a good move. But like I said, it doesn't put us above the top echelon. So with this move, are we a top 5 lock? Are we a playoff lock? Guaranteed. Signed and delivered. We're going to go from 48 wins to 52, 53. DeMar DeRozan, this is a really good team, is what I'm getting at. DeMar DeRozan doesn't have to come in and put on the cake.
Oh, no.
So what does he look like?
Right, Kev?
What does he look like as another guy? We did not beg Malik Monk to stay in Sacramento for $80 million.
Make less money.
To be a 4th option. Exactly. What the hell? No. He is the 3rd option, if not the 2nd. We're not DeMar. I mean, there's not enough basketballs to go around. So I don't know how it's going to work out, but I'm a Sacramento Kings fan at the end of the day.
You could argue DeMar is the 2nd option, to be honest.
No, you can't. Over who? All-Pro Domantas Sabonis? Hell no.
Argue that.
I do think DeMar is going to be the 2nd option. You know, if I was a coach, just as a playing basketball, for me, I didn't get too far. I only play high school, but I watch a lot. I try to play a lot. I think DeMar, you're silly if you don't make DeMar your 2nd option. Now, is he going to be dominant on the ball like that? Absolutely not. But that's not necessarily to mean like 2nd option means, you know, if De'Aaron can't get a shot, then you get the shot. It's, you know, if we go back to our fast-paced offense, you know, De'Aaron looks for his shot, or then that's not there. DeMar look for your shot. Okay, that's not there. Let's get a ball to Sabonis. Go into something real quick. I think it's going to work out. You got DeMar dominating the mid-range, because if you have one defender on DeMar DeRozan right now, I'm sorry, you're getting cooked. So any team's they're gonna have to throw 2 guys at him. Before, that was Fox having to deal with 2 guys every time he got to that midi. So now his dribble drive penetration is going to open up more. He's going to be able to get to the lane. Sabonis not going to have to focus on getting 16 a night. He can go back to – if Sabonis give me a double-double with 18 and 15
with cheese
and 8 points, I'm good. But when we have situations where Fox can't get a shot because he's getting doubled, Murray's having an off game, Malik, you know how Malik Monk gets last season. Sometimes he just would check out. You know, it's like now we have a guy who's a known bucket getter who you have to respect his bucket getting. Keegan Murray's going to get more open looks on the 3, which before we just had him as a shooter. We tried to turn him into some KD off the dribble, turn around, and that's not the guy. So he's going to get more open looks. Kevin Huerter gets pushed to the 2nd unit. So now we have a real 2nd unit rather than, oh, Kevin Huerter, give me 5 minutes. Oh, you trash. Get Malik Monk in. Now we have a real 2nd unit where Malik Monk can be the point guard.
Who's the starting 5?
My starting 5, Fox, DeRozan, and Murray. I know they're never going to put him in the starting 5. I don't know why. I wish they give a chance, but I'd want Trey Lyles and Sabonis.
So Malik comes off the bench?
Yeah. Malik took solid pride in being the 6th man of the year last year. If you followed him on Instagram, when they had the vote going, he was constantly posting, hey, look, vote, who's the voting? I'm in the last 2. It's me and Naz Reid. And then when he lost, he was really upset. He thought he should have got it. So I don't think he has a problem being the 6th man because you're
it's still. It's not like he's not going to finish games. He'll finish games.
Now, that's where it gets to is you had Malik Monk being a 6th man, and sometimes you were only giving him 22 minutes a night. I don't care if Malik Monk plays poor in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd quarter, you put him you give him 33 minutes, 32 minutes a night.
He has to play that. Like, that's the amount of minutes he has to play.
If anybody's minutes fall, it's Keegan Murray's minutes. That's what I think Malik Monk's going to be cool being a 6th man because he's going to get his own unit. It's really going to be him. It's going to be him, Keon Ellis, Kevin Huerter I don't know how they'll rotate Kevin Huerter and Keon. Alex Lynn showed solid development last year. And then I don't know who else we have at that 4 spot, but I think DeMar did a little bit more for us. Now, like you said, he's not that piece that's going to get us top 5 or anything like that. We still need a big man because right now the league is bigs. We can score all day long, but we need somebody to go down and defend.
Y'all made the 3rd seed 2 years ago.
Right.
And I feel like your team is better. I feel like last year you guys were competing. You guys were like 5th, 6th, and then Malik Monk goes down or Kevin Huerter goes down. So you guys were trying to fill a void that wasn't there. But you guys have a bona fide scorer on your team who's been a bucket getter his entire time he's been in the league.
His entire time. And he played in one of them.
Upgraded. You guys got better. So there's no reason why you guys shouldn't be a top 4 or 5 seed in the West.
He's seen mini playoffs. He's played in one of the best eras ever. So
Eastern Conference Finals. Come on, Kev. Say he ain't a winner.
He's not a winner.
He played against LeBron.
What did he win? Why guys played against LeBron? But that's neither here nor there. Let me go ahead and put an end to this debacle. Malik Monk's not coming off the bench. He said it in his interview back. He wasn't coming back to be 6 man. That shit's gone and went out the end. He's not coming
he can start.
So my question to you guys is, after hearing what you guys said, is a second option the second highest scorer? Is that what a second option is to you guys?
I'm just going off of the resume of what we've seen DeMar to be. Overall, his entire career, he's been a number 1 or a number 2 option. Now,
so because that's all he played, he can't play nothing else? Is that your reasoning for him being the number 2 option?
Well, I'm saying everything kind of goes into it. Like, you got DeRozan at the meeting trying to recruit you to come. So I feel like that kind of goes into it. Like, all right, we need another scorer. I feel like DeRozan is the number 1 option. I feel like we can all agree on that.
Absolutely.
The number 2 option is kind of up in the air. Is it Sabonis? Is it DeRozan? Is it Malik Monk? We resigned Malik Monk to a team-friendly deal where he could have got $40 more million to go anywhere else. But he wanted to come back and be a Sacramento King. Now, I'm not opposed to James' starting lineup, but I think the starting lineup will most likely be DeRozan, Malik Monk, Sabonis, or DeMar DeRozan, Sabonis, Keegan Murray. I feel like that's probably the starting 5. A little small, but that is another thing that the Kings need is big man depth. You have Alex Len on the roster, but you would like to kind of go out and get another big body for this Kings team. But yeah, man, scoring I feel like should be easier for them now that they have a guy in DeMar DeRozan who's pretty much a guaranteed 20 points a game, at least. And I feel like that's going to help you guys tremendously.
All right, let me ask you guys another question. Today, you're starting a franchise. Number 1 pick. Only niggas on the board are DeMar and Sabonis. You taking DeMar?
I'm starting a franchise today.
Today, you have 1 pick left. It is DeMar and Sabonis. James, who are you taking?
Man, Bonnie, you'll be surprised, but I'm actually taking Sabonis on that one.
But he's now the 3rd option. But we all think he's the better player.
Kevin, he does so much more than score, though.
Let you talk.
He does so much more than score.
His resume gets to put him in this notch.
That's situational.
There are tiers to this. So it's the All-NBA Kings, Malik Monk, and everybody else.
DeMar DeRozan is a 3-time All-NBA player. How many times has Sabonis been All-NBA?
Twice. You've been throwing that out a lot. Can you name me the years? Or are you just saying it because that's been on the head and the ticker?
I just want to know how many times has
I can tell you how long ago 2 of those were.
Sabonis?
No. DeMar.
DeMar, like I said earlier, it was 2 years ago. That was the last time.
His last one. What was his second to last one?
That was like 20.
The Raptors still wore that jersey. That's how long ago it was, brother. This isn't San Antonio DeMar. This is the Chicago Bulls DeMar, who was brought in to be a second option to Zach LaVine. So he comes to Sacramento, a way better team than Chicago, and because his resume and because he played in LeBronto and because he came against LeBron, he's a winner. Like, if it wasn't for LeBron, they would have got there. All I'm going to say is this, you guys. They trade out for him for Kawhi. They trade out for him for Kawhi. What happens?
Is that what?
They trade out DeMar for Kawhi, and the Raptors are world champs.
Man,
that's Kawhi Leonard, though.
I'm just saying. DeMar's the winner. Could win there. Went to San Antonio. Could win there. Went to Chicago. Couldn't win there. But he just falls in the winner category because he was on the other side of LeBron James of the Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh, he's absolutely not a winner. But I guarantee you put prime LeBron on the other end of that Toronto run. Kawhi getting stopped at the Eastern Conference Finals.
Kevin he's a known LeBronologist on the show. So he would, for sure, if LeBron didn't leave the Eastern Conference, Kawhi probably would have been hoisting that chip.
Oh yeah, we wouldn't be talking about the whole league took a break that year. But no, Kawhi still went on his run. I see what you're saying. DeMar couldn't do it. He couldn't. If you play LeBron that many times, you better figure out how to beat him. He couldn't do it. Going back to what you said, I do think DeMar could defer from his second option status.
Yeah. He's 35 now.
Yeah, you're 35. Let me chill a little bit. Y'all need.
I'm not saying he wants to be the number 2 option. He might want to just go ahead and let the young fella go ahead and do it. But But when you need him to go get a bucket, he's there. I'm here if you need me. Mm-hmm. I'm here if you need me tomorrow. This is what y'all gonna get.
That's what we need. Here when you need me. We don't need 23, 24 a night. Here when we need you. And James, I know this is your first episode, but I'm gonna have to get on one of your takes. You said that having DeMar add spacing for Keegan. We throw DeMar the block on the left elbow, Sabonis is on the right elbow. It ain't much going on, and when we put Sabonis on the wing, niggas aren't even looking that way. So the spacing still isn't there.
Now DeMar plays a lot of short corner too. You know, he can play a lot of short corner right there on that. Well, NBA court don't have a volleyball line, but plays a lot of short corner, wing, mid. Sabonis usually stays in the key elbow to elbow. You know, we'll figure it out. But that's why I also said I wouldn't have Murray getting as many minutes with DeMar. You know, if Monk has to start, then I'm bringing Keegan Murray off the bench. I'm not
come off the bench.
I'm not leaving my bench without a good one of my best players. I'm just not.
Like I said, we're going to have to pay Franz Wagner money next year. That's what's looking at the other side of this coin. We ain't bringing him off the bench. He got to play.
Is this contract?
He played like shit
next year.
Next year's contract year for Keegan?
Mm-hmm. So we're going to have to pay him. But
you know what? Can you tell us what Franz Wagner's numbers were just quickly? Was it 5 for 212?
5 for 212. Could be 227. He'd bring home a DPOI or first team. But we have some comments to get here that I've been waiting for. So, Toddy, I'm gonna center this around the Kings fans because you're going to have different responses than us, and we're just not here for that. It's positive energy. You got DeMar DeRozan. So, James, we have a comment saying the Kings made a big trade but will be in the plan. Do you agree with that?
Let's run down the West real quick. Not in any order. You got the Nuggets, the Wolves. Who else was it?
Mavs.
You got the Nuggets,
Lakers.
the Wolves, the Mavs, Lakers, the
Thunder,
Pels, the Thunder,
Memphis.
Yeah, Memphis is gonna be back.
Phoenix
gonna fall off. Phoenix,
Houston, come out and play. Yay.
It's not a crazy comment, but I just think everybody's like, oh, y'all made the play-in last year. We made the play-in and we literally lost Malik Monk, Kevin Hurt.
Clippers.
Trey Lyles is hurt the whole season. Fox starts the season with injury. If you're watching, it's clear. So I don't think we'll be in the play-in, but I don't think his comments too crazy of a take because the West is just it's a shit show, man. Like you'll be 5 one moment, you win a game, now you number 1. Lost one game, I'm back to number 7. Like it's a shit show out in the West, man. So
3 weeks before the season, man, the Mavericks were 10, finished at 5. All you gotta do is get hot when it's going. So unfortunately, this is Mr. Wesley Renner, so I'll handle this comment. He said 35-year-old DeMar DeRozan is not a big name, but I hope it helps y'all make it in the play-in next year. Wolves back, baby. Like I said, for Sacramento Kings fans, we're local fans. Wes lives in Seattle, but he's a Minnesota fan. He's like Toddy. There's a whole bunch of teams they could have chose a lot closer, but they just picked the good teams. No ties, no nothing. So, you know what, Wes? I said it before the show or during the show in the first part of it. Top 5 lock, Sacramento Kings. You heard it here first.
Wolves back.
And this last one goes to James and I. What do the Kings still need? I think we need a big man or maybe a backup point guard like Russell Westbrook. What do you think the Kings now can add to this team?
Do not go get Russell Westbrook. Please don't. I say the Kings need another big and probably another guy that can shoot the 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. We need a big, and it's like we said earlier, we don't like if it were to have Ben Zach E, we don't need you to come in here and score. I need you to sit in front of the goddamn rim like this. get a rebound.
That's it. That's all.
Be able to catch the ball, and when you get bumped in the chest, be able to bump back. We just need a big man that can do that. In good shape to play good minutes, and like Bronny said, a consistent shooter. Like I would have loved if we could have grabbed KCP before he went to Orlando, or I would hope that Herter stopped shooting these falling to the side jumpers off of every roll that he gets and would go back to being a stand.
Hey man, you better respect Jaevon.
He ain't in Atlanta no more. You don't get to call him that. It's just Kevin.
I think he's a great player, but yeah, we need a big man and another shooter, and we'll be all right. But that'll take us to top 3. We're still top 5 right now.
Stamp, top 5 stamp. So talking Northern California hoops. So we gotta go up the road to the dynasty that is now crumbling. Klay Thompson leaves the Golden State Warriors for the Dallas Mavericks. Toddy, what were your thoughts when you heard the news?
Well, I mean, it was kind of like the writing was on the wall. You saw that he was offered a contract before the year started, and he was like, I don't really like that number. Didn't have his best season, but Klay still shot like 39% from 3, average 18 points a game, a little bit under 20 points. The Warriors didn't have the best season. They battled injuries throughout the year. It was just a whole fiasco. Like they benched him for Podzinski, and then they brought him back in the lineup. It was just a bunch of just a lot of shit going on in it. Unnecessary stuff going on throughout the year, and I feel like contract talks kind of maybe affected Klay's play. I believe he's the second greatest shooter of all time. A lot of people would probably believe and stand on that with me. And I think Klay is going to have a phenomenal year going into Dallas for this next year. He has a lot to prove. People think that he's washed. He'll be the perfect third option for that Mavs team. Mavs need a dead-eye shooter, and I think we can all still say from a career standpoint, Klay Thompson is a dead-eye three-point shooter. Didn't have the best three-point shooting season last year, but he has a lot to prove. I thought he was going to end up with the Lakers just because his dad has a lot of history there. Michael Thompson, as we already mentioned, that was the number 1 overall pick.
I don't know if he was to the Lakers, though. Did he play there his whole career?
I don't know. I
don't know where he was drafted to.
I guess we don't know ball. But I think it's cool to see that he's going to go. It's weird, actually. He's going to wear like number 33, a Jackie Moon-ass number. It's weird. You would think that Klay was going to retire war. Everyone thought that. And then we saw Draymond was like, yeah, I'm about to go to Memphis. And he ended up coming back. So, yeah, it's weird to see that this other Splash brother is now gone to Dallas. Dallas got better. They lost Derrick Jones Jr. and they basically replaced him. They lost Tim Hardaway Jr. and basically replaced him with Klay Thompson. I feel like that's an upgrade. Obviously, Dallas was just in the finals. Luka played his ass off. Is weirdly still playing in the Olympics after he was, kind of limping around throughout the finals. But
his knees be bleeding.
Yeah. Kyrie didn't play as well, so he's looking to have a bounce back year. So we'll see where this Dallas Maverick team is kind of in the West, the wild, wild West, as we call it. We were just talking about the Kings.
I need somebody to mute their phone for me, please.
Being top 5. But yeah, no, I just think Klay Thompson to this Dallas team is definitely for sure. A lot of people are going to say, well, the Mavs, they don't run pin down screens and blah, blah, blah. You got one of the greatest shooters of all time. I think one of the smarter point guards who've ever played the game, who just so happens to coach the Dallas Mavericks, will figure out how to get Klay Thompson the ball. But yeah, this is a good signing for Dallas, and it's kind of shocking to see that Klay Thompson left the Golden State Warriors.
And before I throw it to you, James, Todd, you mentioned a name that I didn't think no one was going to mention. Tim Hardaway Jr. We saw him throw up brick after brick after brick. So you substitute Klay Thompson in that role, it could be a scary sight. One thing that I wanted to come on here and say is a lot of people said the Warriors would still have been what they were without Klay Thompson. And I think that's 100% not true. Like, I know you brought in Kevin Durant, and I know Klay Thompson took the back seat, but Klay Thompson was a dog. They don't call him Game 6 Klay for nothing. If they don't win that Game 6 and the Thunder go on to win, does Kevin Durant come? You know, a lot of things change if there's no Klay Thompson. A lot of things could change. So Klay Thompson was a great piece. A lot of people think it's crazy that he left. You know, we saw Dwayne Wade leave. And Toddy said, you know, we all thought he would retire a Warrior. Klay Thompson will definitely retire a Golden State Warrior. They, you know, business is business. And I personally believe he should have took a pay cut because they paid him a max contract and he sat out 2 out of the 3 years. So it's like, you know, we got you. We had your back when you was in flip-flops and on your boat, you know. We paid for that boat. Least you can do is scratch our back and come back and finish it going. And one thing that I saw that really stood out, he told Steph Curry not to be a part of it. Like, don't go in there and demand them to keep me. I want them to keep me because they want me. And that was a big sign because I know damn well Steph said, here's the money for Klay, sign him tomorrow. They're signing him tomorrow. So to see him go off and the pieces that they were able to add, are they better? I know this isn't first team all defense Klay Thompson anymore, but like Toddy said, he's what the NBA is looking for. 3-and-D guys. And Luka, we saw him on the defensive end, and it was not good. So to bring in a guy like Klay Thompson, yeah, he's not what he used to be, but he's still a really good defender. So
I saw somebody. Oh, my fault, Kevin. I saw somebody tweet out that Klay Thompson is the Michael Jordan of Tim Hardaway Jr.'s.
Oh, yeah. It don't get no better than that. So I think he's going to fit in like a glove, man. And I think Luka is going to really hone in on him. We saw Maxi Kleber couldn't get the shots up, Josh Greens. P.J. Washington had his one good series, but to have a consistent shooter like Klay Thompson changes a lot of roles on that team, and I think they're going to really be able to benefit. So, James, swinging it to you next. What were your thoughts on Klay Thompson deciding to leave the Golden State Warriors for the Dallas Mavericks?
I was a little shocked. I wasn't, but I was. Just because, like you said, they gave him so much when he wasn't able to give them anything really on the court. So you would think that he'd be like, all right, I'm towards the end leg of my career. Let me just hone in, you know, take a pay cut. But you also can't blame a man for wanting to get his money. I think when I seen he was signed to Dallas, I thought it was a great fit. Saying, like, you seen – P.J. Washington didn't really do what they needed him to come in and do, being that three-point shooter. You know, he had a great series, so he showed potential. But maybe if he's just not the one sole guy to do that job, it'll help out. You know, you give Luka another person to find. It's a great fit. Sometimes people just need fresh air. You know, you have the situation with Jordan Poole last season. You know, you're coming straight off an injury into criticism and, you know, the expectations of championship because y'all just won so recently. So sometimes people just need a breath of fresh air. Let me find myself. I think we're going to see a return of the Klay Thompson we knew at this Dallas because it's just not so much on them anymore. You know, the Warriors, they built a dynasty. You know, how could you expect anything less of Klay Thompson when he's in a Warriors jersey than what you've seen him give? So I think it's a good reset for him. I do hope to see him, Draymond, and Steph all reunite and retire together, though. That's NBA lore that needs to happen.
Definitely.
Yeah. What do you guys think happens to the Warriors? Do the Warriors make the playoffs this year?
I was going to say, Warriors damn near did I don't think they make the playoffs, but I think the Warriors kind of did what the best thing they could do to replace what they lost. You know, they went out and got Buddy Hield, who's arguably the second best shooter in the league. I don't think
like Kyle Anderson. I mean, they're doing it piece by piece, and the Warriors really just need those draft picks to develop. You know, you need Kuminga to take another step. You need Moody to take another step. You need Paul George to take another step. So we'll see, man. But playoffs is hard.
They have the same problem as last year. They need another guy that can score. It can't just be Steph doing it by himself.
But yeah, they need an actual. I think Buddy Hield is a decent scorer. We'll see what he does, given the chance. You know, kind of be in the limelight again a little bit, because you know I didn't like him at the Kings, but I won't deny that he would get some buckets. So
they're praying that Jonathan Kuminga is going to be Jaylen Brown. That's what they're praying.
He's not going to turn into that, but if you just use Kuminga for his aerial threat, make him a great rebounder, and just I need you to defend. I think Kuminga is a great fit there. You know, they went out and grabbed Kyle Anderson. I think he's going to kind of do what Draymond does for the starters. He's going to kind of come in for those younger guys in the second unit and be that level head that, hey, let's do this right. Make sure you're going here, run the offense, you know, talking to the younger ones. So I think they're moving in the right direction. I just think we won't see another Warriors surge for a long time. So
definitely. And while we're on free agency, there were so many moves, so we're not going to go through every single move. So I'm going to swing it to you first, James. What were some big deals that really caught your eye in free agency, and how do you see those players impacting their team next season?
Man, a big move. I wrote a couple down, so give me a second.
All good.
Let me check my Palm Pilot.
Oh man, let's talk about Philly.
Yeah,
PG to Philly. That was huge. They were pretty much the only team. I don't get too much in the financial side, but I've been, you know, watching a couple clips. They're pretty much the only team that could afford a player like that on a straight deal, you know, straight out of free agency. So I think they made a great move. You have Tyrese Maxey coming. He proved himself. Joel Embiid, need him to stay healthy, but it would be good that they finally have an actual big three. Hopefully, you know, we all know the cookie can just crumble sometimes, but that was a big trade. And Donovan Mitchell re-signing with the Cavs. I didn't know that. I didn't see him doing that. I honestly thought he was a little unhappy there. I didn't think he was getting what he wanted. Wanted to go somewhere where he thought was more competitive, but that was huge. They're going to be good. I'm interested to see what they do with Garland though, because he signed that extension. I don't know if Garland's panning out to be what they thought he'd be, and might as well ship him now while he's somewhat valuable before he just starts to tank a little bit. So those were two moves I thought were really good.
All right, Toddy. If hopefully you got two different moves in that, but if not, then just kind of double down on what James said. So what were some free agent moves that you saw that really sparked your eye?
Obviously, the Paul George signing was huge for Philly. It's getting scary in the East now. We're all worried about Paul George, Joel Embiid, and Tyrese Maxey. No, yeah, that was a big signing for them. I saw on his podcast that he was talking about that they offered him like 2 years for 60, which was insane. That was like the first offer. He was like, "What? That was kind of crazy." And then he was basically just give me what Kawhi got, and they wasn't trying to do that. And then you know, everything kind of spiraled into you know, him going to Philly. So it's a big signing. He was the biggest, you know, domino to fall in, you know, pretty much free agency. So pretty much after he signed, everybody else started like, all right, this is where we're going to go. DeMar DeRozan to the Kings is a big signing, I think, for Sacramento. It's probably the biggest free agent signing that the Kings have ever had. You would think that you would get more guys in the offseason, but it's hard to get guys to play in Sacramento. The Kings, as of late, have been a very solid team. I think Mike Brown has a lot to do with that, coming in and changing the culture. De'Aaron Fox, obviously, and Domantas Sabonis. And Monty McNair deserves a lot of credit on that. So those are two, I say, signings that are pretty big for the Lakers. Or not for the Lakers, for the
Damn, show some respect.
For the Kings. But, yeah, you know, it hasn't really been that crazy of a free agency besides like a couple of names, but, you know, a couple of re-signings here and there. But yeah, Mikal Bridges is another. It's not free agency, but it's another like off-season trade to happen. I thought was pretty insane. He gets to go play with all of his Nova boys. The price was pretty steep. I think it was like 3 first-round picks. It was 3 or 4, if I'm not mistaken.
4 and a swap, or 3 and 2 swaps.
3 and 2 swaps. So hefty price to pay, but they re-signed OG. This team is going to be really, really good. They'll have great wing defenders. A lot of 3-and-D guys on that team. Julius Randle's coming back. Jalen Brunson had a career playoff run in NBA history. So I'd say the Mikal Bridges signing, you know, the trade basically was huge for the Knicks as well.
Yeah, so some of the big ones that you guys didn't mention, Isaiah Hartenstein. Three years for $97 million. I think that was absolutely huge. I think for them to, we were talking about it all season on the podcast, was they needed to go get a true big. Chet is great. He's young. They were one of the worst offensive rebounding teams in general. To bring in a guy like that is going to help. He was second in steals among centers. Then they brought in a guy like Alex Caruso. I know that wasn't free agency, but this was a trade. For him to be third in steals amongst guards, and the Thunder were second in steals amongst the NBA. So to add in more guys that really just balls to the wall on that side of the ball is going to help this team develop. And for them to re-sign Isaiah Joe and Aaron Wiggins to contracts that, I don't know if you guys caught up to it, but it adds up to exactly 18 mil. And you know whose contract's worth 18 mil is Lloyd Marketing. Toddy always says it. They got all the cards in the deck. They got all the picks, whatever you need. We got
all the draw force.
We got fifth graders. We got freshmen in college. Whatever you need, I got it all in the deck. So I think they're going to make another move. I don't think they're going to double or stick down to this. I think the Thunder it wouldn't be crazy to think the Thunder were the favorites to come out of the West on paper. They have made
makes sense for them to trade for Laurie, though.
Definitely, and just another guy to come in and help elevate this team, because we saw they need another guy because we saw Jada take another step. But when the playoffs come, asses get tight. You start sweating in places you never sweat before. And they got to that big show and they couldn't deliver. So to bring in more talent to double down around your guy and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to be a crazy sight. And another thing that I wanted to mention, I know it didn't happen, but we heard a lot of rumbles about Paul George to the Warriors. I think as a Clippers fan, I'd be pissed we didn't trade him. You traded 5 first-round picks and 2 swaps, and you let this man walk out the door for nothing. You got a brand new arena, billions and billions of dollars. You got to fill seats somehow.
Got James Harden.
You couldn't tell me you couldn't get a Kuminga, and a Moody and some picks and call it good. You ain't playing for shit. So it's really interesting on that point. So we are going to move on to 2 of the recurring segments of this show. So first, we are going to do this or that 76ers Big 3. So, James, I'm going to run you through it. So I'm essentially going to compare this team to other Big 3s in the NBA, and you're going to tell me if you're taking the 76ers Big 3 or the other team's Big 3.
Okay.
So this or that 76ers Big 3. First team up, we have the Nuggets, Jamal, Michael Porter Jr., and the Joker.
I got to take the Nuggets. They're proven. They went deeper in the playoffs this year. And, just a little bit more seasoned in the NBA. Tyrese Maxey he played great, having great years, but still a little bit young when you're going against guys like that. And we've seen Joker be healthy all season, dominate. We've seen Embiid dominate, but we haven't seen him be healthy. So I got to go with the Nuggets on that one.
What you thinking, Toddy?
Yeah, I gotta go with the Nuggets. They won a championship. They're proving it on the biggest stage. We have not seen Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, and Joel Embiid play. So run with the Nuggets.
Yeah, man. I like you guys said, you got to tip your hat. They're a championship 3. Either you want to put Aaron Gordon or Michael Porter Jr. in there, a 3-time MVP, a great surrounding pieces around. You have to go with the Denver Nuggets. So the next team we have are the Phoenix Suns: Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal.
I'm taking the 76ers. Simply because I do not believe in that trio right there at all. I don't see how it works. I don't think that team has any idea what they're doing. At least when you look at the 76ers 3, they fit. Like, you're like, okay, we got a point guard, we got a good wing defender and scorer, and then we got a big man. You look at the Suns, we got three guys who score. And they all score at the same parts of the floor. So I'm taking the 76ers on that one.
Toddy?
This is tough. I'll take Philly. I love Devin Booker. Been a Devin Booker stan on this podcast and my previous podcast that I used to do with Shaun. Saying that Devin Booker is going to be one of the best shooting guards in the league. I just think we haven't seen Philly play yet, but what we saw from Phoenix was very underwhelming. Perhaps this could just mean that Phoenix just needs another year, and maybe they'll look better in year 2. I think Devin Booker and Kevin Durant are one of the top scorers in the league. I think we can all agree on that. Just think the Bradley Beal addition of him and Devin Booker are basically playing the same position. One of them has to kind of relinquish their duties and kind of fill into the next role is kind of where everything kind of their styles kind of butt heads. So give me Philly. I'll take Philly.
All right, it's about to get spicy. We have the New York Knicks, Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges.
Very tough.
Ooh, that is tough.
Well, I'll go first. I'm taking the 76ers all day. I know Mikal Bridges got traded for 5 first-round picks, but he's a glorified role player. Julius Randle, we throw the injury out for Embiid. We got to throw the injury at Julius. So if I'm picking with a big three, I'm going with the 76ers over the Knicks.
Yeah, I'm rocking with Philly too. When you look at this three, they're just constructed so well. Like it just fit. And like you said, I agree. I don't think Mikal really moves the needle for New York as much. Julius Randle been hurt for about 2 seasons, it seems like. So I gotta go with Philly. You know, Nick showed a lot, but I just don't see them. If they run into that team in the playoffs, or this, if they run into the 76ers with Paul George, I don't know if we're talking about their run, really.
All right, Toddy, who you taking?
I'll roll with Philly. I think, their guard wing big combo that they have is just better. You got Maxey. Was Maxey All NBA this year?
No,
All-Star. It was an All-Star. That's what it was. That's why, because his contract was a little bit cheaper than it would have been. If he was an All-NBA guy, they probably wouldn't have been able to get Paul George. That's what it was. I think this Knicks team is probably very talented. You have Brunson, Mikal Bridges, and Randle. I just think the more talented of the two, for sure, is Philly. Have a lot of promise. Philly the Knicks are no slouch team. I think they're the top 3 teams will probably be Boston. Champs, Boston Celtics, Philadelphia 76ers, and then probably the New York Knicks. So it'll probably be the top 3 teams in the East. So you're splitting hairs, I think, a little bit with these two, but I'll have to go with Philly.
All right, next one. Milwaukee Bucks, Dame, Giannis, and Chris Middleton.
I'm taking Philly. Yeah, I'm taking Philly. I don't know, because Max and Embiid by themselves showed us more than what the Bucks showed us with their Middleton played decent when he came back, but here we go again. We did it with Embiid, we did it with Randle. The dude's always hurt. We can't rely on him. Giannis starting to seem like he's always got a nick or bruise. And Dame, I told my homie last year I thought Dame didn't have a great season. I wouldn't have looked at the stats. I was wrong. He had a good season. But I just don't think he is what they thought he would be. And Tyrese Maxey's out there playing basketball like he ain't got a contract yet. So I gotta rock with Philly. Honestly, surprised how much I'm rocking with Philly on these. But they just gotta, when you look at it on paper, it's like
Toddy, who you taking?
This one's kind of tough because I do think Damian Lillard is going to play a lot better this coming up year. Last year, I heard in a podcast, Doc Rivers was saying that he talked to Dame and was saying that he basically didn't train all offseason because he knew that he was going to end up getting traded. So he didn't want to affect his trade stock because if he would have got hurt during a workout, then things could have went left. So I think we'll see a better season from Dame. Giannis, who is a champion. I think if this was a duo thing, this would probably be a different conversation. Giannis has been hurt the last 2 years in the playoffs, so that's not good. Dame was kind of in and out of injury. But obviously Embiid has never been healthy. Paul George has battled injury. Played last year in the playoffs. And Maxey's there as well, too. So this is kind of more of a coin flip, but I'll probably have to lean towards Philly just based off because what I saw from Philly or from the Bucks last year defensively was just god awful. And they have to be better on defense because pretty much any and everybody was scoring on them. So if I did have to pick somebody on paper, like we're kind of going off it, I probably choose the Philadelphia 76ers. A lot of people kind of slighting the Bucks just based on what we saw last year, but you definitely a team to watch out for because they do have a really, really dynamic duo in Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo. But for this segment purposes, I'll have to roll with Philly.
I'm gonna go with the Bucks. We gave the same credit to the Nuggets. We gotta give the same credit to the Bucks. I know this isn't the same Bucks team, but they still got the Finals MVP, 55 Nugget at Chick-fil-A.
Oh,
So I'm gonna go with the Bucks. I think Dame's gonna have a lot better of a season, and when Chris Middleton is healthy, he's a hell of a third option. So I'm gonna go with the Bucks. Next team.
no,
Chris Middleton on your team? Yeah, he would. Kevin would say yes.
I'm not taking it.
Not over DeMar.
For spacing purposes.
Oh my God, Kevin.
And he'd be cheaper.
He's hurt.
Hey,
Kevin.
man, it depends
He'd
who
be
you
hurt.
ask me.
He'd be hurt.
I mean, yeah, he'd be hurt. I mean, they're both about to be 50, so. Next team we have the Oklahoma City Thunder, SGA, J-Dub.
What are you going to say to the Boston Celtics?
Never. Why would I bring them up?
It's going to be the champions.
So we have the Oklahoma City Thunder and SGA, Chet, and J-Dub.
I'm taking OKC.
Ooh, okay. I like that. Young, talented.
Yeah, these teams had the same. They went to the same round in the playoffs last year, but I didn't see. When I seen OKC crumble, I'm like, okay, well, they're just not there yet. This is a young team. They haven't really been this far. When I watched Philly crumble, it was just like I was just watching them not try. So I got to take the Thunder. I feel like they got more tools. Who'd you say the big three would be exactly? It'd be
Chet, J-Dub, and SGA.
Yeah. Like Jalen Williams shoots the lights out the ball. Chet's only going to get better. Chet was a lot better than I thought he was going to be his rookie year. And SGA, that I feel like he got slighted for MVP. So I got the Thunder on this one.
Toddy?
Give me Philly. I think they're just too young. Haven't really showed in the playoffs. They proved in round one. I get that. But PG has playoff experience. Maxey now has playoff experience. Embiid, he's in and out of the lineup. But I just think they're more talented than the OKC Big Three. So I'll probably have to say Philly.
Yeah. If I was starting a franchise, I'm definitely going OKC. But as of right now, you got to tip your hat. They got an MVP on their team, an all-star. They got three all-stars on their team. So if you have to compare them, I'm definitely going Philly. All right. The moment we've all been waiting for. The Sacramento Kings. DeMar DeRozan, De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis.
You know who I'm going with.
We see it in the background. He ain't got to say it.
Oh, yeah. It ain't wavering. I'm going with the Kings. Biased opinion, but to break it down, I just think Fox is better than Maxey. He's been in the league longer. He's seen more. I think he's a bit better of a shooter, just as fast and good of a ball handler. Sabonis, I'll give him the durability. I know he's going to be around. He's going to play. He's going to play all the games that he can. He's going to bump. He's going to do all that. And then Malik Monk's just my guy. I can't go against Monk. So I got the Kings on that one.
All right, Toddy. What you thinking?
I think it's Philly. Philly's more talented. Very similar in styles. I just think Embiid is better than Sabonis. Maxey, I feel like Maxey and De'Aaron cancel each other out. PG is slightly better than DeMar. And I think Embiid is better than Sabonis. So I'll have to go with Philly.
And I second that. I'm taking the 76ers over the Kings. I know I want to be a homer so bad, but I can't do it, man. You got an MVP over there, and you got two all-stars. And we have DeMar. Is DeMar better than PG? Absolutely not. Sabonis is not better than Embiid, but yes, Tyrese is not better than Fox. But is that one-on-one enough to carry us over the top in that trio? I would say no. So moving on to our last segment of the day. I'm sure you're aware of this segment, James. This is facts or cap. So, Toddy, since you're the non-fan of this team, I'm going to swing it to you first. Factor Cap. The Sacramento Kings are the best team in California.
Let's see. You got the Lakers. You have the Clippers, Warriors, Kings. Best team in Cali? I think they're better than the Warriors. think they're better than the Clippers. Are you guys better? Are guys better than the Lakers? CJ. I'll be doing that all the time, so it's kind of funny to see somebody else do it. I'll say this is a fact. I think you guys got the better of the Lakers last year in the season series, if I'm not mistaken. It was a lot of back and forth. There were a couple of games that probably could have went the Kings' way, but the refs were kind of playing you guys by the whistles. So, yeah, I'll say it's a fact. You guys are the best team in California. That's how long is a couple of years ago when you guys made the playoffs. You guys were the best team in Cali. So, yeah. This is a fact. There you go.
Yeah.
Let's go, Kings.
All right, James, we'll swing it to you next. Factor cap, James. The Sacramento Kings are the best team in California.
Oh, that's a fact. I just don't believe in the Lakers at all. I don't feel like they're good, whether we split or not. I think the Clippers are going to have a crazy downfall. I think the downfall of the Clippers is going to be like really bad this year. Warriors, same thing. I feel like we were better than them last season. We battled, we would bump, and they beat us in the playoffs the year before. But you look at just how they played last season, they're losing Klay Thompson. It doesn't seem like they still haven't really figured it out. And then, So in the clip, I just see us. We have a good head on our shoulders. We're making moves. We haven't really lost any guys that we don't want to lose, unlike the Warriors Clips. And you go back to the Lakers, they're struggling to find somebody out of free agency. So I think we're all good. That's fact.
And I'm going to triple down. This is a fact. I mean, we saw that the Lakers can't sign nobody in free agency. People come to Sacramento before LA, and that's something we ain't never said before. So we got to listen to what the people are saying. So this has to be a fact. The Sacramento Kings are the best team in California. And James, I hope Toddy told you to come with the top 4 point guard list because I told him to give you the homework. So I'm going to swing it to you first, James. Ja Morant is no longer a top 4 point guard in the NBA. No. Factor cap.
That's fact. I mean, you can't blame him. It's not due to his game. It's not due to his ability. It's all off court and shenanigans and injuries. We haven't seen you play in about if you over here doing this. We haven't seen you play in about almost what seems like 2 seasons. And, in that time, we've watched Luka still dominate. SGA's turned into an MVP caliber player. Jalen Brunson's not too far behind SGA. And then Jamal Murray became a champion. Like, you can't really blame him, but it's the fact of the matter. Ja Morant is not a top 4 point guard in the league.
Can you run us through your top 4 list one more time?
I got 2. So stat-based, I got SGA, Luka, Jalen Brunson, and Tyrese Halliburton. Personal opinion, I got Luka number 1, SGA number 2, Jalen Brunson number 3, and Jamal Murray number 4. And I replaced Tyrese with Jamal Murray in that list because I just don't. Tyrese, I get he gets the stats, he gets the assists, he does good, but I gotta see you win something. I gotta see you battle tested. When he got battle tested, he folded. So that's my top 4.
All right, Toddy, I'll swing it to you next. Factor cap, Jamal Murray. Factor cap, Ja Morant is no longer a top 4 point guard in the NBA.
This is cap. Ja Morant's better than Jamal Murray. Ja Morant's better than Tyrese Halliburton. I think we're forgetting Stephen Curry still plays in the NBA. He is still a boy. I think a lot of things happened, like guys were getting all NBA, guys were getting extra money because Ja Morant decided to dangle on his Instagram Live. Now, he did get hurt, tore his shoulder up, so he was out for the rest of the year. But I think when 12 comes back next year, he's definitely going to prove that he's an all-NBA guy. I mean, he was all-NBA up until this happened. And then he obviously ended up getting hurt. So I don't think without a doubt that Ja's like top 10 in the league when he's playing. He was top 10. Like we literally like a year ago, everybody was saying Ja Morant was like a top 10 player in the NBA.
When he
Like you could argue Ja Morant, if none of this shit happened with like Ja Morant and all this stuff, he'd be on the Team USA team. Like he would never gotten hurt, and all the other teams. I don't know why Kevin's frowning up all in the face. Look at his stats: All NBA this, All Star here. He's literally one of the best young players in the NBA. Now I get his off the court stuff. He's gotta clean that up a little bit. But when healthy, Ja Morant's one of the best players in the NBA. When healthy, like not even just top 4 NBA, like best players. And now, James, you were saying that SGA is one of the better point guards. I consider SGA more of a 2 guard than anything. But he just has the ball in his hands a lot because they don't really have a guy that's really their point guard. So by default, he's technically their point guard. But if we kind of watch this game, he's more of a 2 because he's a bona fide scorer. But Luka, I don't really even know what Luka is. I guess he's technically a point guard, but he's like 6'7". He handles the ball all the time, so technically he's also a point guard. But I mean, Steph Curry's in there. Ja Morant is definitely in there. You probably wouldn't be able to say that right now because he didn't play last year. But he's definitely better than Tyrese Halliburton. I can promise you.
So he falls at 4?
He'd probably be or like 3 or 4, like in that range.
Can you run us through your list?
So Steph Curry, Jalen Brunson's in there. Maxey had a hell of a year. So I have Steph, Brunson. I'll say Maxey's in there, and I'll say Ja. I think Ja's better than Maxey. Like when he's playing basketball, he's literally one of the best. He's a first-team All-NBA caliber player when he's healthy, and fuck all the off-court stuff. When he is playing, he's an All-NBA player, first team.
First team.
Yes. Yeah. So.
You know he hasn't been on an NBA first team, right?
Yeah. Well, he's been hurt.
But when he was healthy, he wasn't.
Well, he made second team?
Yeah, but it wasn't first team. I'm just saying.
Okay. Well, he's a first team All-NBA caliber type of player. Shaun, if you want to go back to the clips and write it down in the notebook, do whatever you got to do. But when Ja Morant comes back, he's going to put the whole league on notice. Stay on that side because he was on that side. Everybody was on that side. So, well, everyone's going to see when he comes back. So,
all right. Factor cap. Ja Morant is no longer a top 4 point guard in the NBA. This is a fact, just like James said. And my 4 simply is this: Luka, Steph, Jalen Brunson, and De'Aaron Fox. I'm not here for the Tyrese Halliburton hype. I know he started off very well, but like James mentioned, when they got tough, he backed up. And I know you want to throw Tyrese Maxey in there, but off of one good season, I don't think we can throw him in the top 4. I also consider SGA as a 2, so that's why he didn't crack my list.
You could argue De'Aaron had one good season, but I get what you're saying.
I'm going to take the overall. We talked about it with DeMar, but we're going to talk the resume. I'm going to take the resume that De'Aaron Fox has over Ja Morant. So I'm going to take De'Aaron. I'm going to say this is a cap that Ja Morant is no longer.
What was that guy that came out and said on ESPN like a couple years ago? He was talking about De'Aaron. He was like,
De'Aaron is what we thought Ja is what we thought De'Aaron was going to be.
Yeah. And then they ended up making the playoffs that year. That was kind of crazy.
And then Toddy wanted to talk some Team USA. So we got one more factor cap. I'm going to throw it to you first, Toddy. Factor cap. Anthony Edwards is the best player on Team USA.
No, this is a cap. And this was a good one because you got LeBron on there, you got Steph, KD, Anthony Davis obviously on the Joel. MVPs are on this team, Kevin. Like there are MVPs on this team. Man, but who starts, Kevin? Who starts? Who do you start on this team? Like is Ed coming off the bench?
Yeah.
Like I feel like he has to start.
No, absolutely not. Over who?
Well, who's starting though?
It's going to be Steph Curry, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid, and Jason Tatum.
But I'm saying like that's not like a real. You're just going off just everyone's 6'8" except Stephen. Like Tatum's not a 2. Like just go position. If you go like Stephen,
this ain't the YMCA. This is the Avengers, goddammit. I don't care what you are. You gonna fit into this too. All right, Jason, I know you 6'8", but you gonna be 2.
Yeah, I'll say that this is a cap. I think Anthony Edwards is in a cluster of just super talented teams. You got Wes in the comments saying that this is a fact. You got Steph Curry on the team, who's arguably one of the greatest point guards. You got LeBron James on the team. I get it. He's about to be 40, but LeBron's on the team. Kevin Durant is one of the top 10 player all time, damn near. One of the best scorers of all time. You have Anthony Davis, obviously. Joel Embiid, who's the most recent MVP on this team. Most, I guess you can say, he's not American born, but on this Team USA team, the most.
Got USA on his chest, no matter what.
He's the most recent guy on this team to win MVP. I mean, it's tough, man. Like Anthony Edwards is in there. You got Devin Booker on this team. You got, like Jason Tatum, champion on this team. It's Kawhi Leonard. Like, there's just so many guys on this team. Like, it's really tough. Like, there's a lot of top 10 guys that are going to be in the starting lineup. So, man, I get this is coming from because, Ant said, the team, they got to revolve. I'm the number one option. So, you could, if they went like Steph at the 1, Ant at the 2, LeBron at the 3, KD at the 4, and Joel at the 5, I would not be mad at that lineup. Wouldn't be mad at it. And I would hate to be the guy in the room like saying, all right, you're coming off the bench and you're making max money on your team.
They're all making max money.
You're making max money on your team and you're coming off the bench.
They all make max money. How do you that can't be a reasoning.
But I mean it's tough because these are the top guys, top of the top. So I mean it's like, hey,
you sit them on your lap and go, look here, youngster. You wait your turn, goddammit. All right? 4 years from now, 8 years from now,
no.
12 years from now,
you had your turn. You had your turn last year to kind of give us a preview of what it would look like.
Don't give a damn about FIBA.
Why did they form the Avengers?
Eric White was on that team.
But why did they form this team, though? They saw what it looked like last year and was like, all right, it's starting to get out of hand. Let me go get Steph. Let me go get Bron. Let me go get KD.
So you want to tell you the real reason why they formed this team or what you want to believe?
Well, go ahead, Kevin. Go ahead.
It's LeBron's last go-round. The fuck you mean why? Let's be honest. Steph ain't never done this. Kawhi. They see LeBron James as your last one? Bam. Let's do it.
Last ride.
Let's call it what it is.
I mean, yeah, this is obviously LeBron's last go-round.
And that's why they're all
another
playing.
part of it, too, is a lot of politics kind of go into it. Like, Steph is with Under Armour. Team USA is Nike. Kawhi is New Balance. It's a lot of politics kind of go into it. So
not with the two of them. They'll take them any year, any day. This ain't Tyrese Halliburton. This is all NBA. Yeah. Steph Curry, best shooter in the world. Yeah. You can go out there in your fucking Crocs. We'll take you in that. Whatever you want to wear. But James, I'm gonna throw it to you next. Factor cap. Anthony Edwards is the best player on Team USA.
Much as I like Ant, I gotta go cap with this one. Like Bonnie said, it's just too many guys when you run down the list. Not based on history, not nothing. Like they're the best right now. My best player on that team is KD. KD or Joel Embiid. It's between them.
I'm not mad.
I think this is cap. But in saying that, I will say Anthony Edwards is taking a point on this team to tell people, hey, when you on the team with me, you're playing with me. I'm not playing with you. I mean, just from what I've seen at the, just from what I've seen him in the press conferences and the practices, he's always talking that talk. He takes everything so serious. So like I have noticed that like Anthony Edwards, because I have it in my notes for Team USA, he's been like kind of just taking pride in that Team USA basketball. So is he the best player? No. Is that his team? I think so. Obviously we know LeBron's there, but I think if is Coach K still coaching
that's Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr, yeah.
Okay, so then it might be a little different. It might not be his team because Coach K took great pride in the Team USA, so he really used to like to build it. But I think like Kevin said, 4, 8, 12 years, that's all and that's all. Like when you on this damn team, I don't give a fuck if you're Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, excuse my language, but you're playing with me, and that's that.
Fact or cap? Anthony Edwards is the best player on Team USA.
I knew this was coming, bro.
This is a cap.
Oh my God.
The Avengers don't come unless Cap says so, right? That's Cap. LeBron said assemble. Joel Embiid's fighting for citizenship. Fighting to the brim. He said LeBron's playing. I need to go. Steph Curry ain't never done this before. I'm coming.
Oh.
I'm just saying. Let's call it what it is.
Damn. So Anthony Davis no star, Kel?
No.
I truly don't think so. I'm saying LeBron James is going to be the best player on this team. Yeah, you have the resume, but he's still playing at all NBA level. It's not that he's the Magic Johnson of the dream team where he's on the way out. LeBron's kicking the door down trying to win another one. So LeBron James is still going. So I'm going to have to say this is a cap. I think LeBron James will be the best player on Team USA. But it's going to be interesting to see, man. I'm really excited to see this team play. They have an exhibition game against Canada, which is a scary sight to see. Canada is going to be a very, very good team. You got Greece in it. So it's going to be a lot of good teams to see. So I'm really looking forward to it. But before we close out of here, guys, are there any last segments or last things that you want to get off your chest before we get off? Go ahead, Toddy.
Serious note, wanted to come on here and say from the bottom of my heart, rest in peace to my boy Garrett Brown, who passed away last week. Grew up with him, I'd say anywhere from like first to like ninth grade. His family was like a part of my family at that point in time in my life. I just want to give my condolences to Steve, Lisa, Hunter, all those guys. You guys welcomed me into your home as a young boy growing up, and you welcomed me with open arms. So I love you guys from the bottom of my heart, and rest in peace to my boy Garrett Brown.
Definitely. Before we get out of here, man, definitely rest in peace from the Stats Over Politics family. I speak for all four of us that we have all the same, we echo all the same words that Toddy's mentioned. But before I let you go, James, I gotta ask: are you a Niner fan?
Recently turned once I met Bronny.
So I guess we'll have to bring you on when PA's out of there, huh?
Kevin's an Eagles fan, so we heated debates. A lot of heated debates on the show.
No, I want y'all to bring him back. I don't want no excuses. None. No excuses. But that is going to do it for episode 103 of Stats Over Politics. Kevin, our guest James, and Toddy. James, before we get off, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on, man. We appreciate it. Brought the great energy and continuing to bring on the great energy for the show. Please give us a follow on all Instagram or all social media. You get us on all social medias. Continue to keep following, subscribing. You guys, our numbers have increased daily. So thank you to you guys. We are nothing without you guys. So I speak for the four of us. We definitely appreciate all the love and support. And that is going to do it for episode 103 of Stats Over Politics.
We out.